First thing you gotta do is shut off the water. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Shut off the water. Next thing you gotta do. What's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Trev2323. This should be a pretty quick job. Tell Murphy to stay away. But if you can hear this, this toilet is constantly running. So the toilet valve went off. Okay? So this is the toilet valve right here. And it's missing the hose. Oh, the hose is back here. The hose is actually supposed to be in here. The hose isn't even in the right space. So this float is going bad. So if you're on metered water, what happens is everything's just realistically you're throwing water completely out the window with this, okay? So we got to replace this toilet float with this toilet float right here. Luckily, there's a valve right here, but I hate these valves. Those valves are old valves, and when you twist them, sometimes they leak. All right, this is a solid pipe. I'm used to the pipes that you can maneuver, so I don't have to take this off. This is the only thing that has to come off right here, and this should be able to come out the top. So let's see if this is gonna work. I'm gonna see if I can do it by hand. Okay, so I can't do it by hand, so I need a pipe wrench. This is right here because I'm not even gonna take that off yet. Look at me. First thing you gotta do is shut off the water. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Shut off the water. Next thing you gotta do, drain the tank all the way out. Now you see you still got a little bit of water in it. That's why I got this bucket, because when I unloosen it, I'm going to catch as much water as I can with a bucket. I'm probably going to need a towel to put around the bottom also. I'm going to use, I don't need a big plumber's wrench for this. I got my plumber's wrench. I'm just going to use channel locks for this. Let me go grab it. Alright, so the water's off. I drained the toilet. Alright, I put a towel on the floor and I got a bucket because there's still water in the tub in there. You're not going to be able to get it all the way out, right? So be ginger, because more than likely I'm going to use the same everything at the bottom since this one is not leaking. So you got to loosen this up right here. Channel lock should be enough because this is just plastic. Just that easy. That nut is loose. You can see it coming off. There's going to be a washer in here probably, because that's what stops it from leaking. Let's see what else is up here. There's another one. See? That's the one that holds it to bowl, right? So we're going to loosen that one up next. Alright, so we got the channel locks on here. Just loosen that one up right there. And when you loosen that, it's going to start leaking. Trying to catch as much water as I can. I'm gonna leave the bucket here till it drains out. Okay, so water's coming out now. I gotta lift that right there, and more water's gonna come out. So I'm gonna reach my hand in there and lift that. All right. That's why I have the towel in the bucket. Because you're never going to be able to drain all that out. Some people put towels on the inside of there to try to get the water out. I caught it with the bucket in there. Alright. So you see there's a little washer that came down right here. A little washer that was in it. So let me pick that up. Alright. That's how much water came out. So this washer is what keeps this from leaking. But these two should be able to, I should be able to use the other one. So let's get the other one right now. See, there's the rubber gasket at the bottom. Let's see what else they gave me. The same plastic screw that was on the old one. And this is to hold the hose that they didn't even have on the right one over there. So it's just that simple. This one right here, and if you unscrew them, this is the height you could get. So this one is unscrews all the way. So I gotta unscrew this one a lot more. And all you do is unscrew them to get the height that you need. Kind of approximate it. Okay, I unscrewed it too much. Alright, now this right here, I'm gonna look at the toilets. Add water a little bit. So it's the old one. Start in there for now. This right here. Look at the hole. It goes right through the hole. Okay. This has a washer on it. Let's look at the bottom, because this isn't letting it go all the way down. That has that little thing in the bottom, and it's not letting it go all the way down. That's Murphy. So you see they pushed it all the way up in the old one. That's the new one. They bent it in and they pushed it further up. So I'm gonna see if I could raise this. No, that gotta go in, see, because it gotta fit inside of there. So this is gonna have to go up some more. Alright, so whoever put this one in, push that deeper in right there. Right. So this is what is inside of this. It's like a filter, I would guess. I actually pulled it out so this could fit inside of there free and clear. So let's go back here again. Put it back in, and now it should fit. Aha! Check that out. Now this has to come down, and you see it stops leaking when it's tightened down. So this is the first one that got to go on, and then you got to make sure it's in the position you want it. All right, you see it already stopped leaking. Now up here, you kind of want it in whatever position that you're gonna need it in. Now after you tighten it, you can still adjust this up and down, because let's see if the toilet can close on this. Because remember, this one was higher than the other one, so that does close fine on there. So now I'm gonna tighten this as best by hand, and then I'm gonna use the channel locks really gingerly. Because this is what's squeezing that rubber gasket at the bottom. Okay, that's good right there. Then there's a little rubber boot in here. Normally these are compression fittings. Hopefully this boot will hold it, because if not, I gotta put some Teflon tape in there. And this is what screws in that little boot at the bottom. So this is gonna compress that little boot into Normally with the hoses you have compression fittings, and I prefer those. This right here, we're gonna see if that works, and compression fits that right there. So we're gonna tighten this up in here. Put you down right here. Use this right here. Now this is pushing that piece of rubber up into the plastic fitting, but you don't want to break that either. Okay, so now if you turn this on really slow, you should see if anything's like, well, you know what, it might back up after the water fills up, so we'll see. Righty tighty lefty loose. So the water's filling up in here now. Have to dry all that off. And now the water's filling. I got it on low. That's not even all the way up. But you gotta let water fill up in here to see if you're gonna get a leak right there. So water's filling up. And see where the hose is coming out? The water, that's where we're gonna put the hose. So I'm just putting a little bit of water in here to fill the whole bottom up. And then we're gonna see if anything's leaking. Alright. We want to see the bottom of that whole piece where the rubber's bogged down at. You want to see if this older compression fitting is fitting. Okay, so you gotta fill this to see if there's anything leaking here, anything leaking out of here. Now here's the crazy thing. This is cold water, so you are gonna feel condensation. So you gotta keep checking. Alright, so I got a paper towel. I'm drying it all out. There's water and enough water in it, so that's good. Now we gotta put the hose on. Okay, so this hose is in the way of the float, so making the video, I did not pay attention. This should be free and clear for the hose to go in here. So I gotta loosen everything up just to twist this to the side a little bit. So this is gonna drain some. I gotta put my bucket back down here, and I'm not taking it all the way off. I'm just loosening it enough to twist it. Let me get all this crap out of here. Do everything right. This in here. This goes in here. I'm gonna loosen everything I did to turn this right here. Alright, so I had to take it back off and put it back on. So this hose doesn't interact with this at all. This can come all the way up and stop the water. Now I gotta cut this hose a little bit so I can arch it up and be right there, and it's okay USA. Okay, so I cut the hose with a pair of scissors, so the hose is right there. Everything should be done. Nothing, oh, there's a screw here, more water, less water. So this is dry. I dried it all with a paper towel. So I turned the water on again, righty tighty, lefty loosey. I see water shooting out of right there. The water's coming out of right here too. So our main thing is it gonna stop when it has to stop? And are we leaking underneath here? That's our main concern right here. Got some water coming out of here, but it's going right into there. We're supposed to fill up the commode. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. This is opened. I prefer not to have these valves. Get the regular ball valves, not these. They last longer. Keep checking to make sure nothing is leaking under there. Then you got to make sure this stops when it stops. You see the line. That's the line the water should get somewhere around in the vicinity. And it should completely stop all the water when the float reaches the top level. I'm not worried about that stopping. Bam! Everything is stopped. You hear no water leaking at all. It stopped before that post. See that post right there? If it goes over that, it's going to continue leaking. And when we first started the video, remember? You heard it. You heard it leaking right here. Alright, I prefer the hoses instead of these. This is good enough right here where this is going to work. It has a little rubber piece compression fitting that this squeezes into the top. But the hose compression fittings, they're hoses built for that they compress, I think, better than this right here. But if this is what you got, this is what you got to work with. And you just got to make sure, I would put a piece of paper towel or something underneath this and just monitor this to make sure you're not getting any leaks. These right here I do not like, because these right here leak once you move them. They get frozen. So this is just a paper towel to make sure everything's dry. Flushed it, everything stopped. Here you go again. Just let it fill up one more time, then you're done. That's it, as long as you don't got any leaks. Talk to you later. Subscribe, like, and share. These are the hoses I was talking about. This right here is a compression fitting, and this is a small one. The small one fits on here, and the hose is a compression fitting to the top right here. So this thing right here screws directly into the bottom right there, and there's a washer in here. I prefer these, although this is how the house was built. It makes it look nicer. But if I were ever have to change this again, I would actually stop the main, put a ball valve on this way you get faster fill up time, and change this older one to something like this. All right, there you go.